Hello, my friends, and welcome to Italy, a place to love YouTube channel, the channel where I like to talk about the good, the bad, and all we have to know about Italy. All right. Okay, but today we focus just on the bad. All right, because anyway, Italy, my friends. Italy, this country, this particular country, were full of contradictions. It might look beautiful, it might look beautiful and amazing, and at the same time, it's just a country that is falling apart from everywhere you see, from every angle you see the situation. The country is falling apart. But so we focus just on the bad, my friends. All right, today, so take it with a grain of salt, with a pinch of salt, my video. I will be a bit provocative at the same time, and then you will judge. All right, so now before I start my video, as usual, please put like, subscribe, press the bell, hype, do whatever is possible to help Italy a Place to Love YouTube channel to grow from this Italian who speaks this particular English and decided to run this channel. It's not native language, which is double difficult. Anyway, okay, let me do things properly. Just 1 second. Let me put the glasses because from a short distance I don't see much. Anyway, let's start from the bad, my friends. Okay, today I can see the forest here. It's looking much better than the previous videos from this location. Simply because I was using the net. Now I'll show you. I have a net for the mosquitoes. Let me pull it. Oh, but today, even with the net for the mosquitoes. Now, because I decided to record, without the net against mosquitoes and insects, flies, which are full, here in Italy. This is another big problem. You have to deal in the summer with a lot of mosquitoes, with a lot of insects, flies, bees, wasps. And I'm warning you because I'm seriously scared by wasps and bees, not because I'm allergic on anything like this, but if I see a wasp that is hanging here near where I'm recording the videos, my friend, I will just jump from the chair and I will run away, but I will still recording, okay? And then you will see me trying to kick the wasp out, unless there is more than one, and then I simply have to leave the room, and then I will still record the video, and so on. So these are the bad things, for example. No, okay, I'm a bit ironic. I'm trying to make, a bit of sense of humor, even if I understand that there are people who don't really have, who don't really have big sense of humor, so they take things too much seriously. And so maybe for these people, it's hard, to watch my videos. But again, so apart the insects, apart this beautiful view, okay, but the beautiful view, you can have it a bit everywhere. Now, yesterday, I'm telling you this, yesterday and the day before was winter. I start feeling very cold, was extremely windy, and I say to myself, okay, here the winter has already started. Today, I think is the 4th of October. Let me double check. I'm missing the dates quite often. Sometimes I'm thinking that, it's the 4th, and while it's the 3rd. Anyway, today is the 4th of October, and the weather recovered a bit, so there is a bit of sun. The air, anyway, it's a bit chilly, but still you can deal. Anyway, so we also have winter in Italy. I wish we had less winter, simply because I really love warm climate. But so let's talk about all the problems of Italy. And I would start anyway from some. I don't know if you watch, if had been showed in the news, have been showed in the news abroad, but in Italy nowadays we are having a lot of protests and demonstrations. Now, these protests and demonstrations are in favor of a population that nowadays is suffering a lot. They are having a lot of problems in the Middle East, just let's say. But from my point of view, anyway, I think they're a bit exaggerating these protests. I saw last week they really nearly destroyed Milan train station. So these protesters, they really had clashes with the police. So there is a lot of, of unsatisfaction. But again, this unsatisfaction, let's say now, it's towards, the way the Italian government is behaving in favor of this population that is suffering a lot. Better to not say any names. Anyway, you will guess it. Obviously, it's not nice what's going on over there. But I don't think that it's true protesting and destroying everything that or having clashes with the police. I think these are just young people who are probably unemployed, probably they have money problems, the social instability caused by, let's say, a not perfect economical situation might also turn into this type of events that, anyway, are provoking problems, issues, are damaging to the normal people who would like simply to be able to take a train, because anyway, but also other countries in Europe like France, we know they're constantly in strike and protesting. Anyway, I'm not really in favor, or I'm against this kind of demonstrations. I don't think personally that it's through this that you can solve a problem, or to destroying things that then anyway taxpayers are paying then to fix, the Milan train station. So I find this type of protest totally useless. But there is a kind of social instability for me due to the economical situation, unemployment, also because we know very well, and this is a topic that I will talk quite often. Anyway, we know that Italy is suffering of depopulation caused in particular by the young generations, which that they're studying, and even if they're not studying, that anyway at one stage are forced to leave the country due to the anyway very low pay rate. So it's always going through the economical situation, economical instability, let's say, very low salary. 12 o'clock, and is always a concert. Now all the churches here are ringing the bells. Maybe with the microphone you might not hear it. Okay, some of them stopped. But anyway, so due to the very low salaries that we have in Italy, about this, for example, the economical situation and the low salaries. Now, we don't have in Italy a minimum pay rate, which that's why a lot of Italians, anyway, are suffering, and they maybe should protest for this. For this, they should speak loudly and say, we pretend, a minimum wage. That's what it's called. But I'm also reading, for example, that a lot of expats, a lot of people who would like to relocate to Italy. I thought someone was listening to me while I'm speaking in English. I have some steps here. I'll try to show you before I close the video. I'm also reading, for example, about expats who would like to move to Italy, and some of them are looking for jobs, but I'd say it's very hard. It's very, very hard to find a job in Italy, in particular if you're not fluent with Italian. So even if you are a professional, let's say from a not EU, but even from EU countries or from an EU, but the EU countries can stay anyway without visa, without working permit. But the non-EU need, if they're under the pension, if they're under the pension age, in their own, I mean, hard to find a job. You can get, okay, elective residence visa, but that's for the pensioners. But for who would like to move to Italy in a working age, I'd say it's very hard because, again, generally Italian don't employ people who don't speak Italian. The wages, the salaries are quite low, so even if you move to Milan or to Rome, you might find hard to, anyway, to sustain your daily life with rent very high in these cities. I can only recommend if you are a digital nomad. I can only recommend you if you can keep your job in your native country, but they allow you, if you work from home and they allow you to travel, but these are the digital nomads. And then you are paid in your native country. In this case, yes, I would make the move to Italy. But if you're looking for a job in Italy, let's say, first of all, for me, most of the expats, anyway, they already have their own incomes, so some they generate some money in their own native countries, and so then you can afford to live in Italy. But anyway, this is one of the problems. The working situation is very bad. Then also the immigrants situation. So, because anyway, Italy, as all the other countries in Europe, are suffering with heavy immigration. I'd say that in Italy is even worse because anyway, we are on the doorstep, we are on the Mediterranean Sea. So anyway, it's a common thing. For example, if you're talking with North Africans, it's a common thing to listen to stories, my friends, where you really meet people who took these boats from North Africa, and they just done this crazy trip, risking their life, this journey through the Mediterranean Sea, just to land on the Italian coast or hope to be rescued by one of the military or these organizations who are in the Mediterranean trying to rescue people, you know. Obviously, it's a very contradictory situation. A lot of people say that we shouldn't, because if we provide support and help, we kind of promote these people coming to Italy. So immigration, we might say that is out of control because anyway, I see, but the reality that I see here is not really the reality that I watch on the media, or the reality that you may witness in the big cities in Italy. Because anyway, the situation in the big cities is much tougher. It's harder. You might see a lot of delinquency. You can see drug dealing, all run by these people. You know, obviously these people are abused probably by the local mafia, which in Italy we know exist, you know, and control all this illegal trafficking. And so that's why, anyway, it's a particular country, Italy, I keep repeating, but at the same time, you might not witness these things, because I believe that a lot of people, depends where you go, what is your goal, and what you choose. Because from my point of view, the safest place, the safest locations are the small towns in the south of Italy. These the center, because the south of Italy is poorer, obviously, generally immigrants, they don't want to stay here because they're hoping for a better life, for better wages. So their goal is to live here. Maybe they just abroad, they just reach the south of Italy, but then as soon as they can, they're leaving this location. So the immigrants that you might see here are the one who settle properly, who establish, and they, let's say, they are welcome in the community. They're not misbehaving, because the small communities, like in the town where I'm living, it's always keeping an eye. They always want to keep the quiet status quo of all the towns here. We don't, not me, but I mean, also me, but generally the locals, they hate messing around. They don't like to hear. If they see a strange situation, they will open their eyes straight away, and they might warn without even calling, police or carabinieri, polizia or carabinieri. They might just warn themselves, and say, listen, don't misbehave. This might not be the place for you. So locals, because I might say there is a lack of institution from one side, but from the other, again, the situation, I cannot complain. I cannot complain. When I see this immigration who settle here and they worked and they buy a property and they have children and they're all well integrated, they go to school. So you don't see the ghetto situation that you might see maybe in other countries or in the big cities, even in Italy. Even, for example, if Naples, I don't see, even if Naples, let's say, has a good amount of immigrants, you don't see them living in the ghettos, for example. That's another thing. That's what is important, to not, create these places where these communities are not then able to integrate themselves in the system. But this is happening in particular, I see, in many places in Northern Europe and also in Northern Italy. So anyway, a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of situations. So I say the economical situation, the financial situation in Italy, which is not the best, the job related situation, the immigrants, and also maybe weather condition, because I don't know. I can tell you that there are locations that are witnessing weather conditions that were not really common, never been that much common. But anyway, my friends, this is the way it is. I'm personally enjoying the life here, as you know. That's why the title, if you have watched up to now, is a bit provocative. Anyway, I'm here anyway simply to think that Italy, anyway, it's still a lovely country. That I'm not saying that people have to move here, not necessary. If you like to listen, if you want to have if you want to understand the dynamics of a place, again, personally, I can only promote the south of Italy because I think it's a place where life, uh, it still looks normal, and I don't see anyway all the bad things that I've mentioned up to now here. I don't see it. Anyway, now let me see what I can show you from my camera here. Just one second. Let me go outside. It's a very bright day. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, here we have the view from the balcony. This is my house here. Anyway, I have the terrace above. Then you see children messing around. And this is the view, Monte Milone view, which is, anyway, it's a beautiful view. This is the view that you have in the small towns, anyway, a bit everywhere. Then there is another town, if you can see on the far side of the screen. That's Minervino, so that's already Apulia region. Behind those hills, it's already Apulian. All right, my friends. Here we are. Today, anyway, it's Saturday. Children have probably. Anyway, children are enjoying. All right, my friends, again. I don't know if schools are closed on Saturday. Anyway, a lot of problems in Italy, but I can deal with. I'm sure there's no safe place anywhere. I mean, so what I'm that's what I am always saying that anyway, uh, perfect place doesn't exist. So let's just enjoy the daily life. All right, my friends, have a nice day, and I'll see you here on Italy, a place to love YouTube channel from my balcony. Bye.